This is a visit to the Carnegie Museum of Art in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It was founded as part of the Carnegie Institute in 1895 by Andrew Carnegie, the Scotland-born philanthropist. The Carnegie Museum of Art is one of four Carnegie museums in Pittsburgh, along with the Carnegie Museum of Natural History, which shares the same building, the Carnegie Science Center, and the Andy Warhol Museum. This is a photo of an interesting hallway and stairs that lead to the museum entrance. The first thing I came across in the museum was this featured comparison of two paintings of wheat fields called More Than a Landscape. This first painting, called A Dolphin Sat Down to Dine on Dust, Alone in His Field of Wheat, is from 2018 by Charlene Von Heel. This painting uses military symbols to depict the human-made storm of the French and Indian War, which took place in 1754 to 63. It depicts chaos, violence, and destruction. The second painting is Wheat Fields After the Rain, from 1890 by Vincent van Gogh. It's a drastically different painting that depicts a wheat field in the wake of a natural storm, and it was painted only a few weeks before his death. This is called Stadia 2 by American artist Julie Murata. It's from 1970, ink and acrylic on canvas. In it, the artist layers fragments of architectural drawings of stadiums, shards of geometric forms, and a swirl of flags meant to reference group identity within an abstracted form for mass gathering and entertainment. This is called Spoon Sculpture. It's from 1975. It's made of stoneware by German artist Beat Kuhn, who lived 1927 to 2015. Using a potter's wheel with nature as a muse, she made very precise clay components such as bowls, discs, orbs, cylinders, and cones, and assembled them into structures. This is a portrait of Isabella de Medici from 1570, oil on canvas by Alessandro Allori. She was known for her extravagant lifestyle and extramarital affairs. This portrait is thought to be an effort to change her image after her conservative brother took over the dukedom. Note that she's holding an ointment jar symbolic of Mary Magdalene, and also there's a faint halo around her head. But unfortunately for her, it didn't work because she was murdered about 2 years later, possibly at the behest of her husband and brother as revenge for an affair with her husband's cousin. This is called Mrs. Trevor. It's a portrait from 1780, oil on canvas by English artist George Romney. The imagery of the lyra and the portfolio link her to the Greek muses of poetry and dance. And this is Young Woman Nursing Her Child. It's an 1883 French bronze by Alexandre Louis-Marie Charpentier. And this lovely piece is Spirit by American Melvina Hoffman. It's from 1913 and it's marble. Another marble piece, Urn of Life by American George Gray Barnard from 1898. This view shows the starting point, which is a veiled figure representing the mystery of life. And this is another view with the family unit in the center. This piece is called The Keeper of the Threshold. It's from 1897 by Elihu Vedder. He was considered an American symbolist or romantic painter, and he was heavily influenced by the pre-Raphaelites. This lovely painting is The Mirror in the Vase, 1904 by French artist Edmond Armand Jean, and it's an oil on canvas. This is called The Nativity from 1888 by Sir Edward Burne-Jones, the British pre-Raphaelite. It's unusual for a nativity scene because there are also symbols of death. For example, the angel holding the crown of thorns. So it appears that the real subject of the painting is the redemption of mankind through cycles of birth, death, and rebirth as exemplified by the life of Christ. And this is Portrait of a Boy, 1890, by the great American painter John Singer Sargent, and it's oil on canvas. And this one's called Aurora Lee, after a poem by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. It's from 1904 by John White Alexander, also American, born in Pittsburgh. And this is Sailing from 1911. It's a very early painting by Edward Hopper, who was born in 1882 and died in 1967. And it's the first painting he ever sold. This painting was based on his memories of youthful sailing adventures on the Hudson River. And this painting is called Dawn. It's from 1896 by French artist Jules-Louis Breton. This is called Iceberg from 1891 by Frederick Edwin Church, who based this painting on studies of icebergs that he did more than 30 years earlier while on an American scientific expedition exploring the coasts of Newfoundland and Labrador. This is Haymaker from 1869 by French artist Adolphe William Bouguereau. And this is called The Garden in the Rue Courtois. It's in Montmartre. It's from 1876 by Pierre-Auguste Renoir. It shows a fragment of the garden adjacent to his studio. The men depicted are thought to be either Claude Monet and Alfred Sisley, or Monet and Renoir himself. And this is a self-portrait from 1885 by Paul Cézanne, and it's based on a photograph from about 10 years earlier. This is called Young Woman Picking Fruit from 1891 by Mary Cassatt. Mary Cassatt was born in Pittsburgh in 1844, and she lived until 1926. And she was the only American and one of only 3 women to participate in the Impressionist exhibitions of the 1870s and 1880s. This piece is called The Lighthouse of Fehmarn from 1912. It's by Ernst Ludwig Kirchner, who was a leading German expressionist. And these are Water Lilies by Claude Monet from about 1915, and this is a very large-scale painting. Another very large-scale piece, this is called Chariot of Aurora. It was designed by Jean Theodore Dupas in 1935. It's constructed of lacquer and metal leaf on plaster relief, and it's considered an Art Deco masterpiece. It was made for the Grand Salon of the French luxury ocean liner Normandy. In it, Aurora, the goddess of dawn, and her sons represent the essential elements of navigation. And these are 2 Art Deco bronze sculptures from 1923 by Paul Manship. The one on the left is Diana, goddess of the hunt, and on the right is Actaeon. Together, these 2 pieces represent a popular Greek myth in which Diana, bathing with her nymphs, was stumbled upon by the hunter Actaeon. In a rage, she transformed him into a deer, and he was killed by his own hounds who were unable to recognize him. And this one's called Abe Lincoln's First Book. It was painted in 1944 by Horace Pippin. Pippin, who was born in 1988, died in 1946, is mainly known for paintings that celebrate the lives of what he referred to as ordinary black folk. And this is called Hoeing. It's 1943 by Robert Gwathmey. It depicts struggling sharecroppers in a powerful statement about the plight of the poor in the South. This painting is called Among Those Left. It's a painting of an immigrant blacksmith by Ivan Albright from 1928. Characterized as hyper-realistic, Albright's style was extremely detailed, He was born near Chicago, and there is a large collection of his work at the Art Institute. Personally, I love his work, and I find the paintings to be both ugly and beautiful at the same time. This one's called Cape Cod Afternoon. It's another painting by Edward Hopper from 1936. It's a good example of what Hopper was known for, which is depicting the details of ordinary life with an appreciation for the impact of abstract form. And this is the gate of Adobe Church. It's 1929 by wonderful Georgia O'Keeffe. And this is another very large scale painting. It's a triptych called Sans Neige, and that means without snow. And it's from 1969 by Joan Mitchell. She was born in 1925 and she died in 1992. She was considered a second generation abstract expressionist, and she described painting as a way of forgetting oneself, like riding a bicycle with no hands. This one's called Black Crowd from 1954 by a French artist who was born in China in 1921, Zhao Wuqi, and he died in 2013. And this is called Number 4. It's oil, enamel, and aluminum on canvas. And it was 1950 by Jackson Pollock, who was born in 1912 and lived to 1956. And this is white painting. It's from 1958 by Japanese painter Jiro Yoshihara. And he was born in 1905 and lived to 1972. So this is just a gallery view with some minimalist works. This piece is called Spirit of Family. It's from 1963, and it's a rather late painting by the Belgian surrealist René Magritte, who was born in 1898 and died in 1967. And this one's called Night on the Square. It's from 1954 by Japanese painter Kumi Suge, who was born in 1919 and lived to 1996. And this is a Guerrilla Girls poster. The Guerrilla Girls are anonymous artist activists who use disruptive headlines, outrageous visuals, and killer statistics to expose gender and ethnic bias and corruption in art, film, politics, and pop culture. They believe in fighting for human rights for all people. This is called Heart Pavilion. It's constructed of two-way mirrored glass and aluminum. It was made in 1991 by American Dan Graham. Outside the pavilion, the mirrored glass reflects the viewer and the gallery space, but inside it offers the transparency of a window. So this is a view with me in it on the inside. And you'll recognize this. This is an Andy Warhol self-portrait from 1986, which was the year before he died. He was born in 1928. It's acrylic and silk screen ink on canvas. The background here is comprised of AIDS wallpaper made in 1988 by an art collective called General Idea, which was focused on bringing awareness to the AIDS epidemic. The yellow painting is Untitled from 1981 by Keith Haring, who died of AIDS in 1990. This is called Untitled, or it is Untitled, 1999 by Laura Owens, an American painter born in 1970. And this is a large, actually that was a large scale piece, and this is a large scale piece as well. It's called 23 Years of Night. It was 2022 by Mohammed Sami. He was an Iraqi artist born in 1984. It depicts a boarded up window softened with star patterned lace curtains, and it evokes a scene following the violent disruptions caused by war. And this piece, which is also a very large scale, it's called Position Paper. It was made in 2018 by American Pope L. This piece, which has rags attached to it, and is kind of crazy, makes more sense when you know that he was both a performance artist and a painter. And he was born in 1955 and he died in 2023. So it is a beautiful building. The older part of the building is quite beautiful. This is a hallway and it has some murals. So these following few pieces are from the museum's Decorative Arts and Design collection. This is Token from 2018 by American ceramist Molly Hatch, and she was born in 1978. In this 70-plate installation, she reimagines handmade earthenware plates as an unconventional canvas for painting. And this is a view of one of the galleries in that section. This piece is called Screen. It's 1993 by Brazilian furniture designer Fernando Campana. And this piece is called Platter Rather, or it's like Platter / Rather. And it's from 2016 by American Jaden Moore, born in 1986. It's constructed of found and reconfigured silver-plated platters. And another museum hallway with colorful abstract murals. And thank you. If you go to the Carnegie Museum of Art website, you can see these and many more pieces that are on display right now by selecting On View link in the Search the Collection page. And there you can also view the 100,000 pieces in their collection, which are also available online.